Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Christy Gammon, your soul healing hostess. And for this evening, I have something special. Normally, we are meeting at this time and in this special place for a midweek meditation. And I am still going to deliver a meditation this evening. It's just going to come at the end of a full class dedicated to self-care principles and practices that I think you're going to love. This is called Fall in Love with Self-Care. So let me just pull up my PowerPoint and we will jump in. Let's go in. There we go. So welcome again. I'm so excited to share this class with you. It was the very first soul healing health class that I created, and it's a favorite because it combines 3 areas of wellness that I've been studying for the past 10 years. Those are spiritual formation and direction, natural health education, and doTERRA essential oils. And just bringing together so much goodness in all areas of body, mind, spirit, wellness. I would invite you to prepare your space. Make sure you have a comfortable place to sit. You may want a notebook or a journal and pen. You definitely want to create some quiet for yourself so you can just settle in and maybe have a cup of tea, or tonight I have my water on hand. And if you want to fire up a diffuser, I have my little pilot going. This is one of our portable, love this little guy. So it's charged up and doesn't require a cord, so I can just move it around wherever I like. And tonight I have a combination of cardamom and wild orange going. That's a delicious fall blend. I've also been loving our harvest spice, and that's easy because it's already a blend. You just put a couple drops in there and it really smells like fall. It's quite lovely. But I thought we would begin the class just like we begin our guided meditations with some deep breathing. And if you're not used to practicing deep breathing, then the way that we do it is to inhale for 3 to 5 seconds, whatever you're comfortable with, and then hold for an equal length of time, and then exhale for an equal length of time. So tonight, just in case we have some beginners joining us, we'll do the 3 seconds, but if you feel comfortable going longer, by all means do so. Just take a couple deep breaths together. Hopefully you're feeling better already. Let's do that again. Lovely. Let's do one more. Hopefully you start to feel your shoulders relax. Maybe your posture got better and you sat up straighter. That's a nice little feature of deep breathing. And I just want to click off this amazing list of the benefits of deep breathing. If this is not a practice that you currently have as part of your morning or evening ritual, I highly recommend it. I am reading from an article that, unfortunately, I was trying to find. The printout that I have doesn't give credit to where I found this, so I will try to find that. This is an excellent article, but it says, make a note to remind yourself to breathe deeply several times during the day. And the easiest way to do that would be either in the morning or the evening or both. If you can take 10 deep breaths in both the morning before you start your day and then the evening right before bed. I'm going to go over some of the health benefits to doing that. It would be incredible. Some other ideas are to maybe do it while you're driving. Say every time you stop at a red light, take some deep breaths until it turns green and you move forward. That'd be just a really sweet gift you can give yourself. Or you can make it a habit when you do a certain task, like put something in the sink or change a load of laundry. Or if you go into a certain room, upon entering, take a deep breath. Pick something, whatever will work for you. Make it doable. And it's better to do a little bit every day consistently, even if it's just a few breaths here and there, than to do a lot and really max out for a couple days strong and then just totally forget about it and it's not something that you really do anymore. It's very beneficial to wrap in as a consistent practice. And so this says 10 benefits of deep breathing, but I'm pretty sure there's like 15. So let me just tick these off for you. Deep breathing makes you calmer. And if you come away with me on retreat, we go into depth into each one of these. There's at least a good paragraph on each one explaining it with all the scientific background. I'm not going to do that for the purposes of our class, but just trust. And if you'd ever like to learn more, then come on a retreat with me. Deep breathing helps to detoxify the body. That's number 2. 3, deep breathing relieves pain. 4, deep breathing makes you happier. 5, deep breathing helps to improve your posture. Maybe some of you found that already. Deep breathing stimulates the lymphatic system. Deep breathing increases our cardiovascular capacity. Deep breathing gives you energy. Number 9, deep breathing improves your digestion. 10, deep breathing strengthens the major organs of the body. And see, here we go. Here's a bunch more. 11, deep breathing helps to regulate weight. What? It improves your overall health and lowers your chances of sickness or disease. It helps you to sleep better. It helps lower your blood pressure. It helps increase your circulation. Deep breathing is one of the easiest ways to improve your health dramatically that you can easily do from anywhere at any time. It costs nothing and it takes very little effort. Take a little time each day to practice it, and it will greatly reward your efforts. So that is my first gift to you tonight, right off the bat. I hope that you will include some deep breathing in your daily health habits. With that, let's formally begin our class. And so let's start with what is self-care. There's a lot of conversation around self-care. Even I feel, as a woman and a mom, a lot of pressure to do self-care, whatever that means. And I think a lot of times we can get caught up in the fact that we think it means that I'm supposed to spend money and go to a spa and have a massage and get a mani-pedi and a facial and all of these things. And while all of those are wonderful, and yes, they are all included in self-care, that's not the beginning and the end. There's so much more. And so I want to give you the good news that you're already doing it right here from the comfort of your own home. However you're taking in this class, you are right now participating in self-care. You've set aside some time for yourself. You've created a special space. You're slowing down. You're breathing deeply. You're listening. You're learning. You're doing something amazing for your body, your mind, and your spirit tonight. So congratulations. Good news. You're already great at this. And now we can build on it. Second, it is not selfish. I thought for many years that self-care meant that I was putting focus and attention on myself when I would be better off serving others. But the truth is you can't serve from an empty vessel. And so it's worth every investment you make. You are your most important asset. When you invest in your self-care in all the many ways that we're going to cover over the course of this class, you are actually offering the best of you then out to all of those you serve. I want to begin with two simple principles, and those are slowing down and showing up. Whether or not you are slowing down has a dramatic impact on how you are showing up. So let's look at these two in a little more depth. So slowing down, naturally during this time of year, we experience shorter days, it gets dark earlier. I'm talking about fall. And of course, ebbing into winter as well. I feel this is a clear message from God versus our modern habits of Western culture. So that whole contrast between simplicity, slowing, and excess, especially as we enter into the holidays that will be here before we know it, and the temptation to engage in a lot of different activities, whether it's shopping or attending events, what have you. I believe that this time calls for more order. I love the concept of morning and evening rituals. That's something that you can build into your daily health habits. And just to give you a few examples, in my morning ritual, I love to set aside some time for deep breathing, prayer and meditation, exercise, journaling, particularly gratitude journaling, and so on. You can build out and include whatever gives life to you, but take a few minutes to just be yourself, that beautiful daughter or son, child of God that you are, before you put on any other hats and begin your day. Your evening ritual may include things like a warm bath, changing your clothes even as soon as you get home from work. And whether you're working outside the home or inside the home, I always recommend dressing for your day, dressing for whatever you're doing, whether it's online or raising babies, no matter what, dress for your day and then have that transition when it's time to slow down and enjoy your evening. That changing of the clothes can just signal that. And I find it's very healthy. If you have different clothes on during the day, during your high functioning hours, that helps motivate you versus, wearing the same thing all day long, no matter what you're doing. So just highly recommend dressing for the day and then looking forward to that transition of changing. You can tell that's something that I do. I absolutely love that. I love when it's the invitation to change those clothes. And get cozy and comfortable. I love having fresh bedding on my bed, setting up a diffuser, having a cup of tea, maybe reading a little bit. You definitely want to turn off screens. I think we're all familiar with that advice. And maybe read a little bit from your Bible or a wonderful book as you're slowing down. And then just in general, as far as a call for more order, being able to focus on what's most important to you, even if that's just for this season. That's great to revisit every 3 months or so, and really just come up with that list of things that are most important to you. They could be a few things for your business or your work, and then a few things for your personal life. And then say yes or say no, and let your yes be a yes and let your no be a no. We have this choice about how we want to participate in this season. It just turned to fall this year, and so we have this fresh start. We are at the advent of the last 90 days of the year, so we have so much in our control, so much in our power to choose between now and the end of the year. Obviously, there are many, many things that are outside of our control. And so to put those kind of to the side and focus instead on what we can control, then I think you'll be glad to know that we really do have a lot of power, a lot of influence over what we're bringing into our day, what we're bringing into our lives during the season. And so we have this great choice. We can try our best to keep up with the crazy, or we can try something new. We can be intentional and set goals and set priorities for ourselves and then stick to those and see just how different this season can feel. Second principle I want to dive into a little bit is showing up. How are you showing up these days? Do either of these look familiar? The way that we show up can affect our personal health, how we as individuals are feeling, and it can also impact our relationships. So it has an internal and an external component. And you think about how your relationship is going with your spouse, how key relationships are going at work. What does your parenting look like these days? How are your friendships going? And if the way that you're showing up is moody and exhausted, then how is that affecting those people in those relationships? And this just ties back to what we talked about from the beginning about this being selfish or selfless. How much would you rather show up to your parenting as vibrant and positive? It's all in your control. In my opinion, my advice to you is incorporating the elements of self-care makes all the difference in how you show up. And I want to share with you a couple different visuals and programs to illustrate this. First, this is the doTERRA Wellness Pyramid. And I absolutely love this. I love that as being part of doTERRA, we're called wellness advocates. I think they could have easily called us essential oil advocates, and that would have been selling what we do so short, because our focus truly is on whole wellness. And on our lifestyle choices. Again, all these ways that we're empowered to be informed and proactive when it comes to our self-care, even our medical care. But those are built on foundations of eating right, exercising, resting well, managing our stress, and reducing toxic load. All of those are in our power to create around. Being aware of our mind and body, we're able to address through this pyramid right here, 80% or more of common ailments and health goals. And then through that, we develop that awareness where then we're able to seek help and with whatever life throws at us, all, the rest, that 20% that is a little more serious than your day-to-day. We want to be able to address those before they come either chronic or critical. And we have the power to do that. And another thing that I wanted to say is that essential oils are wonderful, but they aren't magic pills, magic bullets. They work in concert with all of the elements, all the foundations on that pyramid. And then the second program that I wanted to present to you this evening, I have just launched my brand new Refresh Your Life group coaching experience. So I actually have a signature program, which is an 8-week one-on-one life coaching experience for you. And that will launch in November. But before that, I thought I want to offer a chance for people to dip their toe in these healing waters, a chance to get your feet wet with a 4-week group experience. So for only $100, you get access to a private Facebook group. There will be printable worksheets to record and track your progress, daily doses of inspiration and encouragement, and then 5 different live events. We'll have a kickoff event on Thursday, October 1st. That'll be at 7 p.m. And then the weekly coaching events will be Mondays at noon beginning October 5th. we are going to organize all of the content for this program under 4 beautiful themes, as you can see in the graphic. They start and build on a foundation as well. We begin with capturing the desires of your heart, curating environments and experiences, cultivating relationships, and creating a life you love. The exercises and assignments will flow from time-honored spiritual, wellness, and success principles and your own personal goals and dreams. I would love to have you join me, and I can share a link below this class recording on Facebook, and when I upload the recording onto YouTube, so that if you are watching this class either live or catching the recording late September, early October 2020, you have the opportunity to enroll. I would love to have you participate in this group with me starting October 1st. And then once this group concludes, just stay tuned, because I'm sure I'll be running it several times a year. It's going to be really fun. And so let's talk a little bit more about the elements of self-care. And I'm sure you'll see things here that you've seen before. Hopefully a lot of the things that I just talked about are things that are familiar to you. What I want to layer on top of that is grace upon grace. We start to get into the elements. Yes, they're simple, but they're not always easy. I think everybody can just intuitively agree that eating healthy foods is a good idea, but making that happen on a daily basis isn't always easy. You have to be highly intentional to make that happen on a regular basis. And then once you get that, healthy foods and drinking water incorporated into your daily lifestyle, then you can build upon it. So this is a great time for more breath. I want you to release any feelings of overwhelm that might creep in when you start to look at a full pyramid of wellness and think, oh, I'm not doing any of those things, or maybe I'm only doing 1 or 2, and just give yourself so much grace to know that you just want to tackle 1 at a time. Lean into prayer, lean into community, and lean into your faith. I want to just reflect on 10 years ago when I first started implementing elements of self-care, and I started by stopping drinking Coke and Mountain Dew. And that was a huge feat for me, and just starting to incorporate water. And so today, 10 years later, I'm still trying to figure out, what does movement look like in my daily life? And I experiment with all different kinds. I love yoga. I'm good at walking. I really like just easy forms of movement. And for me, my yoga practice looks like a mat on my living room floor, doing a program either through Holy Yoga TV. The subscription is so affordable. $10 buys you a full month of content that is unlimited. You can go back through the archives and pick practices that are perfect for you. I love doing that. And we have a dog, and so just putting her on her leash and taking a quick walk through the park is also a really easy thing for me to be able to do, just to say that I have moved my body and I have gotten my heart pumping and my blood flowing for at least 20 minutes a day. Those might be some good ideas for you. You may need the accountability of heading out to a gym. So you just want to choose one area to work on at a time and do it in a way that makes sense for you, and that is going to be something for a way for you for it to be able to take hold. And then just remember, we are making progress, not perfection. There was only ever one perfect person, and I'm not him, and you're not him. And so we should never set ourselves up to try to attain perfection. We make progress and we celebrate progress. I think as I look back on 10 years ago, what a monumental thing that was for me to quit drinking Coke and Mountain Dew, but I've never done it since. And so I think about today, how solid my practice of drinking water is and how that just grew over time. And I don't have to think every day about what am I going to drink? Am I going to drink soda? No, that's not even a thought that enters my brain. So over time, these foundations just become more and more solid for you. And take something like that. Think about something that you've been doing that's a good thing for a long time and just celebrate that and realize the potential that you have and the power that you have and the progress that you've already made that you can build on and just go from there. um, Yes, and so I want to go, I just want to make the leap. There are a lot of practical applications as far as self-care is concerned that um, revolve around the physical. And I want to transition us because emotions are just as common and are just as healthful and life-giving to address as far as your self-care practices. So I'm going to put up just a list of different emotions here for you to look at while I talk for a second. So we're coming into all kinds of seasonal issues. It's fall, it's winter, seasonal affect disorder is a real thing. Maybe the weather, just the gloominess can have an effect on you. And a lot of times these big holidays that are coming up can have that same effect. They can all result in extreme versions of your personality or the emotions that you might typically feel. And so you might all in one day experience this whole list, but you can go from anticipation and joy quickly into sadness and grief. Something that I just learned about within the past couple of years is this concept of expectation hangover. And depending on how you take care of yourself or treat yourself as far as setting expectations determines whether or not you're going to have a hangover at all or how severe it can be. But it's an actual thing. You can set yourself up for a hangover if you set extremely high expectations for yourself that are just not realistic. And then as time passes, you don't meet those expectations, then you fall into the hangover. And just like a physical hangover has symptoms, the emotional expectation hangover has symptoms as well. And you can feel a crash. And especially during these challenging times, if you are watching this class within the calendar year of 2020, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I would just encourage you in this season especially, bring it down to just a really easy, manageable level. And I'm talking holiday planning, I'm talking Tuesday, just whatever you're looking at on the calendar, if it's an average normal day or if it's a big deal, bring the expectations down because we just have less stamina to go on right now. We've had so many things thrown at us this year and so many attacks on our vibrancy, excuse me, our vibrancy and our vitality. Let me grab a quick drink. Physically having an attack on my throat right now because I've been talking a lot today. But we have so much to recover from, so much uncertainty that on a daily basis, just to survive, just to keep our feet on the ground, just to feel like we're weathering this storm is a win and a victory. And so piling a lot of other expectations, especially as we come into the holidays and we think about years past and the way that we've done things before, I encourage you, I implore you, bring it down this year. Make it as simple as possible and enjoy the beauty of it. If you need help curating a simplified holiday, that's something that I would love to help you work on. Reach out to me. And then let me ease into some tools. I want you to be able to feel supported during this season. And so these are some beautiful practices that we can, again, just weave into our daily and also keep in mind as we head into the holidays. So first, if you've been carrying around heavy burdens, which I'm just going to assume that that includes all of us at this point, I want to give you some ways to work through them, to process and experience healing. We never want to stuff these emotions down. We want to feel what we're feeling and process through. We want to learn and grow as much as we can from our emotions and process through so that we come out on the other side closer and closer to our best self. And so forgiveness is a really big deal. There are several tools that I can share with you, from just a simple journaling exercise of writing out in paragraph form. I choose today to forgive this person, and then write out everything that, ways that they've wronged you, words that they've said that hurt you, actions that they've taken against you, maybe, whatever the offenses are. I encourage you to list those out. And then do a second paragraph where you express your forgiveness of that person. And you never have to speak these words to the person. If it's a toxic person, you do not have to engage with them face to face. You don't have to send them a letter. You don't have to read these words or call them up on the phone and say them to you. Just the act of you writing them out on the page and experiencing that release is going to bring the healing, the forgiveness healing to you. And so that's the goal with this. And so then literally write out, I forgive this person and I release them to their highest good. And you're just going to feel the weight come off of you when you do that. Now, if you do want to engage with the person, if it's still a person who's in your life and you feel like once you've finished writing it, maybe you've taken the edge off your emotions a little bit and you've come to this place of peace and you feel like, wow, I feel so good. I do want to say something, or I do want to send something to that person, then by all means do that. You're going to have a sense, or if you need to talk that through, let me know. But likely you're going to have a sense of what's best in that situation. Another really physical, emotional thing that you can do, emotional support tool that you can use, is to grab a heavy rock. You want to go outside and make sure you have some space. You don't want to crash it into your fence. Make sure you have some space and make sure there's no person around you, and just assign that rock with whatever emotion or whatever person, whatever offense that is coming up for you, and then throw it. And you can do that multiple times, or I would say at least 3 times. There's always power in that number 3, but just pick up that rock and release it a good 3 times. And as you physically feel the weight of that rock leaving you and hitting the ground somewhere in front of you, you just feel that weight fall off. It's so healing. It's so good. You can do that into a water source if you have that nearby, or you can just use the ground in front of you. Either way, amazing. Another example, if you've got some paper and pen, would be a spiritual conversation. And I've used this successfully a number of times, and I use this in particular. It can be a little longer than the journal exercise that I mentioned at first. The journal exercise can be pretty simple: paragraph, paragraph, release. The spiritual conversation I like to have when I wish I could have a conversation with a person, but I know that I can't. And I write it all out, and I just let my soul just spill out onto the page. And it can be as harsh, as ugly, as raw as you need it to be. This is a very cleansing experience. Just let it flow out from your pen. You may not even know in your mind all of the things that you want to say when you start, but just put the pen in your hand and start writing. Just begin, and I promise you, invite the Holy Spirit to guide you. Write it all out, and then close in prayer. And similar fashion, release the person to their highest good, but just ask the Holy Spirit to intervene on a spirit to spirit level. And so that, because this is going to be a person that you do have to interact with, but you know that this conversation could potentially harm the relationship, even end the relationship, and you don't want that. So ask the Spirit to engage on your behalf and let that person's spirit receive your forgiveness in the end. Benefit from this purging of emotion that you've experienced and this forgiveness that you're willing to share and this moving forward, this new attitude that you're taking on because of the process that you just went through. Pray that that person's spirit would be touched as well. And I have found 100% of the time when I've done this, that my interaction with the person after the fact has been remarkably changed, beautifully changed. So highly recommend that. A spiritual direction session would be another wonderful avenue for you to take. I see people either on Zoom or in person at my office at Inner Wisdom Healing Center. If you'd like to schedule this, it's just a quiet conversation. It's really between you and the Lord through the power of the Holy Spirit. And I am just a guide in the room, a guide on the path, listening, holding you up before the Lord, and asking just helpful questions to guide you on that path. And we can absolutely devote a session to forgiveness if that would help you. Finally, there's a beautiful hands-on oil application called Symphony of the Cells. It has a specific protocol for forgiveness. And it would be wonderful to combine a spiritual direction session with the forgiveness protocol at the end. So after you've verbally and prayerfully had that experience, then you can transition to the table and allow the essential oils to work and release those emotions that way as well. Gratitude and generosity are such beautiful practices. In the past, my personal life and business coach, Tiffany Peterson, has offered her gratitude and generosity series. I trust that will be coming up again this year in November, and if that's the case, I'll be sharing the link. But in the meantime, I believe you can still access prior years. If that's something of interest to you, let me know. But just even a general gratitude practice on a daily basis. I have my journaling that I do in my morning ritual. I always write down 5 things that I'm grateful for every day. Just that practice of calling out things that you're grateful for, even if they're very simple, just sets your emotions on such a positive note to begin your day, and just allow your day to flow from that vibration. It's a very high vibration. Give that a try if you don't already, and see just how that shifts your emotions, not only in that moment, but throughout the day that follows. It's really, really sweet. And of course, you can be generous. I like to do at least one thing that's really generous each week. And it doesn't have to be financial. It can be a gift of time. It can be a gift of a resource that I have, a tool that I share, a special gift that I give, something that I make. You can be very creative with that, but I like to do something generous at least once a week. And Tiffany loves to say, you can't outgive God. And so it's always fun to do something generous and then have him do something spontaneously back that was a surprise. So that's really fun. The intention is to give, and then you end up receiving these amazing blessings that you didn't even set out to receive. And it's really sweet. eating healthy live food. You would be surprised what a support that can be to your emotions. And I want to read to you just one example. There are so many different foods we can look at and research, and what are the true values of these foods that we're putting into our body. And of course, we can talk about vitamins and minerals and nutrients and all that. I think we all get that. But our fruits and vegetables can also have tremendous emotional and spiritual support as well. And so I'm not going to read you this whole thing, although I would love to. Here's Story Hour with Christy. It would take too long. So I'm just going to show you the cover of this beautiful book. This is Life Changing Foods by Anthony William, who's known as the medical medium. And he's talking about, on this page, oranges and tangerines. And he talks about how historically people who lived in the north were deprived when it rolls around to fall and winter of their citrus fruits, because there just weren't deliveries to the grocery store. They just didn't have trains and trucks bringing produce from the south to the north. And so the people in the north would suffer. And so the value on an orange or a tangerine just became incredibly high during this time of year. And if any did find their way to the north, they were usually gobbled up or given to the wealthiest families. And so they just weren't available to the commoners like us. Whereas nowadays, oranges and tangerines are readily available. We can get them all year long. And so we need to shift our mindset. I think there's also some misinformation out there that people worry about citrus allergies, and dentists warn that acid is bad for tooth enamel. Oranges actually have chemical components. These are the coenzyme glutathione, and then flavonoids and limonoids, which fight off viruses, protect the body from radiation damage, and deactivate toxic heavy metals in the system. They also have a special form of bioactive calcium that you can't get anywhere else. And so they actually help to regrow our teeth and are beneficial to our oral health. And so all that having been said, please pursue your oranges and your tangerines on a regular basis. So I'm just going to give you a couple nuggets. Here's the emotional support that you're going to get from an orange or a tangerine. The juice of an orange or tangerine is like liquid sunshine. If you often feel sad, weepy, glum, or down, oranges cut through the gloom and shine a light on your life. They are the perfect food to eat when you feel sun-deprived and lonely, as though there's an empty void that needs to be filled. Oranges take out all the chill and fill you with warmth instead. And here's the spiritual lesson. Oranges and tangerines remind us that we sometimes overlook the most important ingredients in our lives. Every now and then, we have to think about what we push aside or forsake and reevaluate whether all of it deserve to be devalued. In the case of these fruits, you may drink only the occasional orange juice and feel guilty when you do. Snack on a clementine once a year, or try an infrequent spread of orange marmalade on toast. Whereas oranges and tangerines should rightfully be a centerpiece in your diet. As you make them a bigger part of your life, look around. What else is worthy of a second glance? Hopefully that's helpful to you as you come into this time of year and just thinking about resetting, reevaluating your priorities. And there's so much more that I can share with you. Of course, we've already talked about breathing deeply, and so I'm not going to go into more detail on that now, but that is naturally another thing you can do for emotional support. I want to talk just very briefly about essential oils and emotions. I have a whole class on this topic, and so these are some of the gems from that class. And I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to guide you through this list so that you can kind of come with me where I'm going. But just know that you want to go and find this class on my YouTube channel. Just search Christy Gammon and then find Essential Emotions. And then it will fill in for you what I'm leaving out in this moment. But the basics are, as emotions are chemicals. So emotions, you may think, oh, they're, my thoughts or my feelings, so they're tied to my brain or my mind, or maybe you think about them in your heart space. But because they're chemicals, emotions can flow freely throughout the entire body. And so in the class, we teach the concept of the 3 brains. You actually have brains in your head, in your heart, and in your gut. And so all of those are common places for our emotions to reside. And then from those kind of home bases, then they move freely throughout the body. And so you can determine, we each will have a dominant home base typically, and you can tell if you're feeling less than. So maybe you get headaches, or maybe you get heartburn or shortness of breath, or maybe you have digestive issues. Then you know you are operating emotionally from that brain, either your mind brain, heart brain, or gut brain. And then you can address those issues accordingly. There are going to be physical symptoms that are stemming from emotions that get trapped in those areas. But your emotions can get trapped anywhere. And we talk about releasing those emotions. This is where massage can become so therapeutic and healing, in addition to just getting the kinks out and helping you relax and become more calm. It can also have long-term healing as far as releasing your emotions. And so here's a fun little nugget. Essential oils are also chemical compounds. So this means they can flow through the body as well. They can also connect to your body on a cellular level. And so just real briefly, if we all agree that we have 100 trillion cells in our bodies, then we consider the fact that 1 drop of essential oil has 40 million trillion molecules. Then that 1 drop can address each one of the cells in our bodies 40,000 times. So this means the impact of essential oil can sometimes be immediate and also permanent, which is hugely powerful, not only from a physical sense, but your emotional as well. And because doTERRA adheres to the highest standard, or the gold standard in essential oils, that's certified pure therapeutic grade, or the CPTG that you see there on your screen, that unlocks powerful potential for emotional support. This means that you're going to have nothing added to that pure plant extract. You're going to have nothing taken out, and you're going to be able to rely on purity, potency, and results time after time. So I want to just highlight 4 essential oils that I think would be incredible for you to try. One is Breathe, and all 4 of these have incredible physical benefits, but at the same time emotional as well. So obviously Breathe is our respiratory support blend, and if you have these oils with you, I invite you to just take it out and put a drop in your palm, rub your palm together, and take a deep inhale. That just opens up the airways. Such a beautiful blend. All 4 of these are doTERRA proprietary blends that we're going to enjoy together. And so in addition to that respiratory support that you experience right away, that may trigger some clearing of the congestion that I'm experiencing. Yes, that's helping me work that out. That's lovely. And so I just want to read to you from this, one of my favorite resources. This is the Essential Emotions book. Forgive me. Breathe addresses the inability to let go of grief and pain. Individuals in need of breathe struggle to breathe and literally feel suffocated by sadness. The lungs and air passages become constricted, preventing air and emotion from releasing. Breathe supports one's relationship with spirit and deepens one's connection to life. It invites individuals to let go, breathe out, and receive, breathe in. In this way, the blend teaches individuals to embrace life through breath. Breathe imbues individuals with the courage to fully open. Isn't that beautiful? So I highly recommend these oils for you. Next is On Guard, another powerful oil to have on hand in the fall. This is our protective blend known for its immune support. And it just has that great fall scent. It's got clove and cinnamon, wild orange, rosemary, and eucalyptus. And so when you think about On Guard protecting your physical vulnerabilities from seasonal threats, then you can also see where it might naturally protect your emotional vulnerabilities as well. So check this out. This combination of oils is generally used to shield individuals from harmful threats. This blend's protective properties, however, extend beyond the physical level by aiding individuals in warding off energetic parasites, domineering personalities, and other negative influences. On Guard strengthens one's immune system, which governs the ability to defend against attacks from both physical symptoms and negative energies. So if boundaries is something that you're working on this season, if you're trying to set some priorities, say no to some things, On Guard is an amazing oil to help you with setting those boundaries and protecting you, protecting your family from stress and overwhelm. All the while, of course, boosting your immune system as well. Next, I want to talk about Adaptive, and this is our calming blend, or the oil of adaptability. Another absolutely beautiful blend of oils. I'm just going to put a drop or two in the palm and breathe that in. Adaptive has this amazing ability to both calm you, settle you down if you're experiencing things like anxiety, overwhelm. It can be highly supportive to regulate you in that regard. But then you don't have to worry about zoning out. If you compare this to medications for those types of things, what I've heard from people, I have a lot of those issues that run in my family and in my friend circle, and for people who have tried medication, either over the counter or prescription for a diagnosis, experience this almost loss of personality. They come so far down that they don't feel anything. And then that's not helpful if you need to run your house or help your family or go to work and be productive. And so the beauty of this blend is that it simultaneously regulates you. So just bringing you down to that perfect level of calm for you, because we know that they're chemical compounds and they're working in your body chemically to address your emotions. It's going to bring it down to the level that's just right for you. But then it's also going to balance you and give you exactly what you need to come up as far as your energy and your mood. It's going to give you a boost so that you can focus, think clearly, make decisions, and be productive. This oil is incredible. And so let me just read to you a tiny bit from the book. Adaptive was formulated to assist with anxious states. It imparts reassurance and calm when an individual is caught in cycles of constriction, tension, worry, solicitude, or uneasiness. Does that sound familiar to anyone? When an individual has experienced prolonged stress or traumatic experiences, the mind-body responds by becoming hypervigilant in order to protect them from future harm. This state is antithetical to well-being and well-functioning. Adaptive helps individuals adapt to stressors and fears in more clear, constructive, and confident ways. Adaptive conveys softly the truth that most of life is beyond an individual's ability to control, and safety is only to be found in the arms of the divine. It reminds the weary soul that the divine has always and will always be there, holding, caring for, and loving them. The invitation from this blend is to not take another step alone when divine love is offering its grace, compassion, and refuge to lean into. Adaptive asks individuals to exercise faith that they will be carried when they no longer know the way, and to believe they are never alone. Isn't that so beautiful? I hope that blessed you. And then I want to end with Serenity. And Serenity is amazing. It's got lavender and every other calming, restful oil that you can imagine. If you think of one, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, hoe wood, vetiver, they're all in there. Sandalwood, they're all in there. It's just a beautiful, beautiful blend. And I am going to do a drop of that since it's getting close to our bedtime. And this is a wonderful one to put on as we prepare to meditate together in just a few minutes. Take some breaths of that. Truly any of these oils you could have handy for our meditation. They would be beautiful. Just a couple words on Serenity from the book. Serenity has a powerful effect on the mind and heart. It is a uniquely calming blend that invites individuals to relinquish feelings of stress, anxiousness, and being overwhelmed. Let's see. Serenity can support those who struggle with an overactive mind and inability to unwind, from feelings of responsibility to feelings of worry. Serenity assists in quieting the mind, releasing agitation, and inviting calm. When individuals over-identify with responsibilities or fears, they create emotional states that do not support proper rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation. Driven by constant pressures and perceived burdens, individuals struggle to keep up with the demands of their lives. This blend powerfully addresses the underlying states that are often the cause of restlessness, stress, and imbalance. Serenity encourages individuals to first reconnect with themselves and discover the peace that lies within, and then to reconnect with the humanity in others. It invites individuals to acknowledge when they feel out of balance and allow time and space for true renewal. It also gently reminds that others are often caught in similar cycles of imbalance and encourages compassion and acceptance of them. Serenity brings a sense of tranquility that allows space for personal reflection, peace, and healing. So beautiful, so appropriate for these days. And so now I want to leave you with the most fun homework assignment ever. I want to read you this quote and use it to set the table. I hope it inspires you. I hope it helps you to release any guilt feelings that you might have and find ways to make progress. This is a little excerpt from Shauna Nyquist's book, Cold Tangerines, that I absolutely adore. See if this resonates with you, and if not, read it over and over. Take a screenshot and read it over and over until it does resonate with you. I want a life that sizzles and pops and makes me laugh out loud. And I don't want to get to the end or to tomorrow even and realize that my life is a collection of meetings and pop cans and errands and receipts and dirty dishes. I want to eat cold tangerines and sing out loud in the car with the windows open and wear pink shoes and stay up all night laughing and paint my walls the exact color of the sky right now. I want to sleep hard on clean white sheets and throw parties and eat ripe tomatoes and read books so good they make me jump up and down. And I want my everyday to make God belly laugh, glad that he gave life to someone who loves the gift. Ultimately, that's our goal, is to love the gift of life and live it to the full. And so with that as your inspiration, I would like you to create a joy list. I invite you to create 2 lists, actually. One that would be things that cost money and one that would be things that don't cost any money. That way, if money is ever an issue, you don't have to feel like, oh, I can't have any joy because I have no funds. Totally not true. So I threw up some examples here for you. This would be another great screen to screenshot if you want. That way you'll have something to spark ideas, but these need to be whatever it is that brings you joy. And I recommend getting in at least one per day, but if you're not doing this at all yet, try to do one per week and then make progress from wherever you are. And then of course, we want to take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and remember that you are worth investing in. I pray this practice brings you great joy and becomes an easy way to incorporate some of the elements of self-care into your day-to-day life. So let's wrap up and move into a time of meditation. I just want to leave you with a short list of some more tools that I have to offer and some ways that we can connect. What I've always said as I've led small groups over the years, whether that be women's groups or couples groups, or our 12 for 12 spiritual formation, I always say my job is not to feed you, but to make you hungry. And my prayer, my hope is that over the course of this class, maybe you're feeling a little hungrier for these elements of self-care than you were when we started. And if that's the case, then glory, and I'm here for you. And so here are some ways that we can connect. My website address is there for you. That is a great overview of all the different things. You can go to the Work With Me tab and click on any of the beautiful icons, and it'll take you to more information on any of those programs and services. As I mentioned earlier in the class, I just launched my Refresh Your Life coaching programs today. You can find detail about those. I've posted some on Facebook, on this page that you're actually watching if you're on Facebook right now. And the link will be provided below this post. If you'd like to sign up for the group coaching experience, that begins October 1st. If you feel like you would rather do the more VIP or one-on-one option, then you can book that. Just you and I will just see where our schedules align. That can begin anytime after November 2nd. But if you like to dip your toe in, get your feet wet sooner rather than later with the group experience that's less expensive and a shorter period of time, and that begins October 1st, you can sign up for that right now. If you're interested in pursuing a doTERRA membership, I'd love to talk with you more about that. If you'd like to visit with me for spiritual direction, as I mentioned, I see people via Zoom or at my room at Inner Wisdom Healing Center, and scheduling is all available through the website. We don't have any signature destinations retreats planned right now. We're kind of in a wait and see mode, and as things start to open up, we actually have some mini retreats, some half-day retreats that we're going to bring to some local venues. So watch for that. And at any point, if anything that I've talked about sparked something within you, stirred your heart a bit, then reach out. Let's connect. I'm available on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me. And I would love, or just put a comment. If you're in the Zoom classroom, put a comment in the chat. Give me your information. Let me know the best way to connect with you, and I will reach out. Or if you're on Facebook, just comment below and we'll connect that way. And so let's move in to our guided meditation. If you want, we can begin again with a few more deep breaths. As you breathe in and out deeply, try to take at least 3 seconds to breathe in, hold it for 3 seconds, and then take 3 seconds to breathe out. You can continue your deep breathing as I guide us in. I'd like to ask you to start with your hands in your lap, palms facing down. This is to symbolize that as much as you can, you are letting go of any distractions. Like fluffy white clouds, they're just going to slowly dissipate and reveal a beautiful blue sky. Putting down anything heavy you may be carrying, like a heavy piece of driftwood. Just going to put that down on the sand and walk away. And dismissing any negative thoughts or thought patterns, like small shells. Just go ahead and drop those into the water and watch them wash out to sea, further and further away from you. We release all of these things. Now I invite you to embody a posture that symbolizes that you're open to receive. So slowly turn your hands in your lap so that palms are facing up. Your hands are now open to receive the gift of peace. Be still in this posture and open your heart to receive peace. Be still and open your body, mind, and spirit to receive peace. Breathe deeply and welcome the gift of peace into your very soul. Listen to the word of the Lord. In Psalm 55, verses 1 through 8, the psalmist says, "Open your ears, God, to my prayer. Don't pretend you don't hear me knocking. Come close and whisper your answer. I really need you. I shudder at the mean voice, quail before the evil eye, as they pile on the guilt, stockpile angry slander. My insides are turned inside out. Specters of death have me down. I shake with fear. I shudder from head to foot. Who will give me my wings, I ask? Wings like a dove. Get me out of here on dove wings. I want some peace and quiet. I want to walk along the beach. I want a cabin by the shore. I'm desperate for a change from rage and stormy weather." In John 16, verses 31 through 33, Jesus says, "Do you finally believe? In fact, you're about to make a run for it, saving your own skins and abandoning me. But I'm not abandoned. The Father is with me. I've told you all of this so that trusting me, you will be unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. In this godless world, you will continue to experience difficulties, but take heart. I've conquered the world." Now let's spend some time in quiet reflection. Is there a word or phrase from these passages that stood out to you? If so, make a note of it so you can return to it in prayer or in your journal. Consider the following promptings. In your own life, what has your insides turned out? Where are fear or guilt taking the lead? What do you want instead? What do you want? Give yourself permission and then answer freely. What do you want? What is your experience trusting in God? Talk to Him about this. If a memory comes of a time when He was trustworthy, soak in that. If you can't think of a time, then ask Him to show up for you as someone you can trust and be looking for Him. Imagine yourself unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. What does that look like? How does it feel? Does it have a taste? Does it have a smell? Try to go there and anchor into this place of deep peace with all your senses. Now take some final deep breaths and rest in the truth. Though in this world we will have troubles, take heart. God has overcome the world, and we are the bearers of His gift of peace. Amen. And peace be with you all. Sleep well tonight, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.